Hello everyone, today I will be doing my February wrap-up and my March TBR. I finished a total of 6 books this month. First, I finished Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw, which is actually a play, for those who don't know. It's also the play that My Fair Lady is based on. I gave this 3 stars because it was entertaining, but since it's a play and I was reading it, I didn't get everything and it just missed something. And I would have preferred it much more if I saw it performed versus reading it. Then I finished The Murders of the Rue Morgue by Edgar Allan Poe. This starts off very creepy, and then it makes you very mad at the end when you find out what was really happening the whole time. It also got 3 stars from me. Next, I finished a book for fun, which was Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alias Hook. This was the little book owl pick for January and February. This is a coming-of-age story set in Texas in the 1980s, and it is so beautifully done. It's like little snapshots of Aristotle and Dante's lives. I think is such an important book for LGBT teens, especially because of the way it kind of goes around that specific topic. I loved the writing style personally, and I just thought this book was great. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. Next, I read The Memoirs of a Teenage Amnesiac by Gabrielle Zevin, who is missing something. I gave this book 3 stars on Goodreads. It is a short read, and the characters I found to be annoying. At first, our main character Naomi's intentions make sense because she has amnesia, but I don't want to give any spoilers, but then she makes really stupid decisions, and I'm not a fan of hers. Fine. It was a fine book, but I don't think I'll be rereading it. Cover is great. I love the cover. Not one of my favorites, but just because it's my opinion doesn't mean that you won't like it. Next, I read Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which is an anonymous Arthurian legend. It has an extreme magical realism, which was really interesting, I guess. A little weird, but I did end up giving it 3 stars. It is another epic poem type, so it is written poetically. It was fine. Read it for school, so again, not necessarily a favorite. And the last book that I finished this month was The Hound of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This was my first Sherlock novel, which I really enjoyed. I thought that the mystery was always interesting, but it didn't really keep you in the dark too much. You could figure it out a little bit. And just Sherlock and Watson, need I say more? I gave this book 4 stars. Now, on to the books that I am currently in the middle of. All of these books I hope to finish in March, so they will be included in my March TBR. The first book that I am currently in the middle of is A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. Currently, I'm on page 109, so I'm a little over halfway through it. This is Hemingway's memoir, so it is not one of his fiction stories, which I appreciate because I'm not one of Hemingway's biggest fans. This particular version is the 2009 edition, which is slightly different than the original, and a few chapters are in different places or changed, and there's some extra bits at the back. The next book that I'm currently reading is A Feast for Crows by George R.R. Martin. This is book 4 in the Song of Ice and Fire series. I'm currently on page 338, so I'm about a third of the way through the book. I enjoy parts of this one, and then there's Circe and the Iron Isles, and I just don't care. Don't care about them much at all, but I will hopefully be finishing this in March. We'll see. It might be April. I'm trucking through. Next, I'm also reading Alias Hook by Lisa Jensen. This is a retelling on Peter Pan from Hook's perspective, and it has different points in his life. So you have points before he got to Neverland, points during Peter Pan, and then after. So it's interesting. And I love this cover. That's pretty much why I bought it, because the cover is just gorgeous. And currently I'm on page 51, so hopefully I will be finishing this in March as well. Right now I'm a little not sure what I think of it. It might be a little early, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just not in the mood for retelling right now. I am also about halfway through Utopia by Sir Thomas More. Very old story, written in the 1500s, and it was translated from Latin. It's a interesting read. It's a little confusing at times, but I'm getting through it. For those who don't know, Utopia is what kind of a lot of communists base their ideals upon, and it's where we get a lot of dystopian literature. And the last book that I'm currently reading, I use quote marks because I technically haven't actually started it yet. It's just under my currently reading on Goodreads. And that is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. I put it on currently reading because I'm supposed to have it read by Tuesday, so I just haven't gotten to starting it yet. This is a mystery, obviously, Agatha Christie. I don't really know much else, but since it's a mystery, I don't want to. Now, in addition to those books, let's talk about my other TBR choices for the month. The first book that I will be reading in March, other than what I've already started, is Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. I don't know if we're actually going to be reading it because of all the snow, and maybe we'll be seeing a play instead. I'm not sure, but I'm putting it in here anyway. I don't know a whole lot about Dr. Faustus. Some other choices I have for March are The Ice Dragon by George R.R. Martin. This is a graphic novel. I'll read this really quickly, so I just have a feeling that I'll have a reading slump soon. The next book I will be reading is a finally moment, and that is The City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. There is a read-along for these books over the next 6 months. They're doing 1 book per month, which is finally getting me to read these books. I've had this book for a while. Hopefully I will be finishing this in March. I have spring break this month, so I will be doing a lot of reading over spring break, I hope. We'll see. The next book I have is Wonderlove by Kristen Hubbard. I need to read it because I'm going on vacation, and this is about adventure and vacation. So I'll be reading it while I'm on vacation, and it's gonna be so wonderful. And the next book that I have on my TBR, I don't know if I'll get this far down my TBR, but you know, gotta be prepared. And that is the first book of the Pendragon series, The Merchant of Death by DJ McHale. I've had these for like a million years. They are my brother's, and then my sister read them, and I'm the only one who has not read them. These are the books that I will be reading in March. We have A Feast for Crows by George R.R. Martin. I'm about 1/3 of the way through. Utopia, which is an ebook, which I am about halfway through. A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway, about halfway through. The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, which I have not yet started. Alias Hook by Lisa Jensen, which I am about 50 pages in. City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Love by Kirsten Hubbard. The Ice Dragon by George R.R. Martin. The Merchant of Death by DJ McHale. Stay tuned for, this is really heavy, stay tuned for my March wrap-up to find out what I actually read this month. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye!